That's good enough. Fuck it. We'll do it live, even though it's not. Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 8 of Are We Strong Yet? 8 weeks y'all been with me. I'm Zach. I'm still the guy down in the basement. Welcome to the Weenie Hut. Yeah, this is episode 8. We've been trucking strong. If you stuck with me this far, thanks for sticking around. I can't believe y'all wanted to watch 8 of my videos, but thank you. If you have stuck around this far, I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. And if you're new here, welcome. Again, things might be a little confusing for you if this is the first time you're popping by, and I'd recommend going back and watching some of the previous episodes just to help provide some context for kind of what we do here, okay? I'm on a bit of a time crunch today, so I'm just gonna hop right into it, okay? First up, diet update. If you remember last week, I spent this whole last week at maintenance calories. Went great. I feel great. My weight's holding strong around 235 pounds. I did have a weigh-in in there. Like it spiked to like 237 one day, and I started to panic a little bit. And then I remembered last week, I specifically said, we're not gonna panic. We're gonna trust this. We're not gonna panic. And we didn't, because the next day the scale went down like 233. So we've been holding strong right around 235, which is right where we wanna be for this maintenance phase. So all in all, feeling good. The extra food has been greatly appreciated, and we're feeling really good, and hope to just kind of keep the ball rolling and just build a nice little base. So when I move into my next cut, we're primed, we're ready to go. Cool thing too is this last week, Carbon gave me an extra 100 calories a day, where my calories went from around 2,700 and some change to now it's closer to almost 2,900 for my estimated maintenance calories. So I shouldn't be looking at that. I got to lock in. I should have silenced that, but we're past that. We're in here. So I got a little extra maintenance calories too, which is cool because the more I can increase my maintenance calories, that just means the more food I'll be able to eat when we go back to the cut, right? So all in all, maintenance is going great. Training update, had a deload week this week. Schedule was a little off. Just for reference, I'm recording this like Saturday late morning. My schedule's all kinds of dicked up, guys. I'm gonna be honest, but we're down here trying to get this in, okay? But we wrapped up a deload week this week. My training schedule was a little off, so I had like an extra day in there to lift and just did like a little shoulder and arm pump. All in all, deload felt great. I hit 315 for a really easy single, which I talked about in the last video. My deadlift top set felt great. My OHP top set felt great. My squat top set, which is the same as my bench top set, because I have a decent bench and a shit squat, so my two maxes are really close to one another. But that felt great too. So all in all, this deload week, I felt like did exactly what I needed to do. I'm feeling primed. I start day 1 of the anchor template tomorrow, and guys, I'm fucking jazzed. Okay, I'm fired up. I'm very excited to get down here tomorrow. I got day 1 is bench, I believe. It's an upper body day. I'm pretty sure I made it bench. Really excited to come down here, toss some bench around, and just really get after it. I'm mixing in on my squat day some Atlas stone work. I'm stoked. I'm stoked. This deload I felt like was exactly what I needed it to be, and I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really primed. Moving into this anchor template, and I'm just really freaking jazzed. Really jazzed, and yeah, just excited to see at the end of the anchor template when we do our training max test, what's that gonna look like, So really stoked, really excited. It's a good time to be down here. It's a good time to be training, I hope you guys out there, whatever phase, whatever thing you're in, I hope it's going as well as my deload went, so we can all just kind of keep doing the damn thing. Okay, but that's kind of it for the diet and the training update. Like I said last week, the next couple weeks of these probably aren't going to be too elaborate or too sexy, because it's just going to be me saying, yep, I'm eating at maintenance. Hopefully the scale doesn't move, and hopefully, yep, the weights are feeling, hopefully we just keep trending in this direction. So that way when we're all wrapped up with this anchor template, we're ready to move back into a cut phase and continue with the weight loss. Current goal, if I start from 235 when I start this cut, let's see if we can't trim down another 10 pounds, get down to like 225, right? But one thing at a time. Let's not put the cart in front of the horse. Let's finish up this anchor template first. Okay, but that's going to be it for the diet and training this week. Feeling fucking jazzed, dude. Okay, so the fitness focus for this week, it's a little different. It's a little different. It's not like some of the other stuff I talked about, I guess, but I'm gonna get a little philosophical on y'all today, but I think it's really important because I think in the journey, the process, whatever you want to call it, this thing of pursuing fitness, strength, getting in better shape, again, whatever label you want to put on it, I think the mental component is just as important, if not more important, than the physical component, right? And this is something my boy, Dr. Density, Professor Girth, Boogs talks about a lot, the mindset, right? You got to get in the mindset. I think it's super important, right? So I want to talk a little bit about that today. The thing I really want to talk about is so many people go into fitness or go into a thing with the mentality of like, oh, this is only going to be like, I'm going to do this 8-week program, and then I'm done with the 8-week program. Everything's going to be different, and life's going to be beautiful. And like when I get there, it's going to be over, and we can just whatever, right? So this leads me to think a lot about, there's a famous quote that a lot of bros like to quote, but I think the words carry a lot of weight. I have it right here. It's, the struggle itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. And that's a quote from Albert Camus, 1942. Those of you who don't know Sisyphus, it's the Greek myth of guy gets sent to Tartarus, which is the Greek myth equivalent of hell. His punishment is he just has to roll a big ass rock up a hill all day, every day for eternity. And as soon as he gets to the top at the end of the day, the rock rolls down to the bottom and he has to start over, okay? What I think there's some power to these words in that I think so many people fall victim to, once they get to the top of the hill, and I've definitely been guilty of this too, of once you get to the top of the hill, it's going to be rainbows and butterflies and it's going to be great, right? But it's not really how that works. And I think this is why you see so many people will get in good shape and then fall out of shape, or, they won't. So many people, like, I forgot what the study was. There's a crazy statistic of like, oftentimes people who lose weight, especially people who lose weight really fast, like within a year will have put that weight back on and then some. And I think that's because a lot of people fall victim to what I always refer to as destination syndrome, okay? When I get there, it's gonna be better. But I think you need to kind of shift your focus a little bit. Okay, you guys have heard me say this a lot. Fitness, we're in for the long haul. Building strength, we're in for the long haul. We're playing the long man's game, right? There really is no end, right? Like, there is never going to be a time, and I think about this for myself as well, like when I get to the top of the hill and then you can just go back to what you're doing before, right? That's not a realistic goal. Because like, if you have that mindset of like, oh, I'm going to diet super hard for 2 months, I'm going to do a hard 8-week diet, and then you just go back to what you were doing, eating and training how you were doing before the 8-week diet, well, you're going to undo all that progress, and chances are the pendulum's going to swing and you're actually going to dig yourself deeper into a hole. So by obsessing over the outcome, by obsessing over the top of the hill, you're really kind of robbing yourself of satisfaction of accomplishing, or a satisfaction of your progress. You're robbing yourself of the opportunity to look and see how far you've come and appreciate it. And I think there's just a lot of negativity associated. Sorry, I'm trying to formulate my thoughts in a coherent way. I got some bullet points here, but also, full disclosure, guys, I finished writing like a 5-page paper for my master's program this morning. So my brain's a little tired, but we're here doing it, okay? As I was saying, I think if you focus on the outcome, if that's truly like where you get your joy from, I think you're leaving a lot on the table and you're doing yourself a disservice. Especially since, shit, let's go back a week or two where I was talking about not feeling good. The weights weren't feeling good. You know, I thought if I cut down to 230, we'd be at the next checkpoint for a goal, but realistically, I got to cut way more. If I was only focused on the top of the hill, that would really suck, right? So I think what more people, and you can apply this to a lot of different things, it just doesn't have to be strength and fitness. This is just specifically a strength and fitness YouTube channel. But I think you need to refocus your energy and learn to love the rock, right? Don't love the top of the hill, learn to love the rock, the process, the thing that is actually giving you the results that you want. Don't worry about the results, those will come. But if you learn to love the rock, learn to love the process. If you really focus on that, then you'll never be disappointed, right? Like you're always going to be able to find something to pull satisfaction out of. Versus if you're only outcome oriented, if you're only focused on the top of the hill, there's going to be times where you're not, like, it just isn't there. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just not going to happen. And if that's the only thing keeping you in the game, that's a real bummer. You know, you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment. Or let's say like you do get there and then what, right? Like let's say your goal is to have abs, right? And then you get abs. Then what? Right? And especially if you go back to like, well, I got abs, don't need to do this shit anymore. Guess what, man? You're not going to have abs very long. You know what I mean? Like, so I think you need to reshift the focus on the process instead of the destination, okay? Learn to love your rock, whatever that is. And I know some of you guys watching this might be like, damn, dude, that's kind of hella depressing because that means this shit never ends, right? My counter argument to you would be there's always a challenge. There's always going to be a fun goal to chase. There's always a fun challenge, right? And that's part of me, like what I love about strength and performance is every time I feel like you have it figured out, you're wrong. There's always something new to learn. There's always a new hill to push your rock up, right? So I think that's actually a really cool thing of, you know what? Again, for me, like my current goal is like, yeah, we're going to lose weight so that way we can set a good foundation so we can put on quality muscle, right? But I'm not focusing on the scale itself, right? I'm not setting like a once I get to 215 or 220 or whatever, like it's going to be over and I can just, no, it's like that is just one phase. That is just one part of the process. You know, what I'm really focusing on is I'm falling in love with the process of like, I'm going to train hard. I'm going to eat nutrient dense foods, and those things are going to get me where I want to go. But I'm not going to focus on the what to go. I'm going to focus on, did I hit my protein today? Did I hit my targets in the gym today? Did I get up? Did I get my cardio in? Right? We're gonna love the rock, not the hill. You guys know what I'm saying? So I think with that, you're really setting yourself up for long-term sustainability. And you guys have heard me say this time and time again, what you're gonna be able to do in the long term, sustaining something over the long term, that's what's gonna give you the results that you want, right? So again, just put the bow on it. There's always a new challenge. There's always a new thing. Just learn to love your rock, not the hill. Because if you can do that, you're gonna stay in this game long. You're gonna build long-lasting, healthy habits. And I think it's just, in the long run, it's just gonna work out better for you, you know? And it's gonna help prevent burnout. Because like if you're only focused on, you know, I need to lose fucking 70 pounds or whatever, right? Like some insane, let's say you're setting some insane goal. And that's a whole nother tangent of making manageable goals, which is something maybe I'll cover some other time. But, you know, if you set this big lofty goal and you're only focused on getting to the top of the hill, damn, dude, that's tough, you know? And then what happens when you get there? You gonna have any gas in the tank to pivot? You have any gas tank to sustain? You know, a lot to think about. So my whole thing, just love your rock, man. Love your rock. Forget the hill. We're on the hill anyway. Learn to love your rock. Okay. There's how do I segue into this? But I had a better idea. Like I said, guys, the gears are slipping a little bit today. But, so for those of you who do or do not know, I coach part-time at an MMA gym in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The head MMA coach there, Scotty, always says the phrase onwards and upwards. And I think that phrase is something that for me carries a lot of weight and has served me really well, especially over the last couple of years. Of like, you know what, you can always, the goal might change, the hill might change, but the rock always stays the same, and that the process always stays the same. So we can always move onwards and upwards. You hit a snag, or you know what, maybe you didn't hit your bench targets this week, or maybe the weight, the scale didn't react the way you wanted to this week, but you know what, keep moving onwards and upwards, and it will be there, okay? But again, like, we're not gonna focus on the top of the hill. We're not gonna focus on the hill itself. We're not gonna be outcome oriented. We're gonna trust the process. We're gonna love the process. We're gonna love our rock, okay? So I hope somebody out there found that helpful, because I know I've been very guilty of destination syndrome, not even just in a fitness aspect, but just in a life philosophical aspect of like, this has happened to me several times where I'll set a goal, but I'll be so focused on the outcome of that goal that once I get to said goal, then it's like, well, now what? And that's just a tough way to live. And you got to learn to find joy in the climb. Because if you only find joy in the outcome, that's just, it's not good. It's not good, guys. It's empty. It's not good. So love your rock, onwards and upwards. That's the main focus for today. Okay. With that, kind of wraps up. Like I said, I wanted to keep today a little shorter than usual. I don't know if I did that because, once again, I didn't set a timer. I did look at my watch, and I think this is a little shorter than usual, but I don't actually know, guys. I'm going to be honest. But with that, you stuck around with me this long. I thank you very much. The words of encouragement have been great. Anytime I talk to anybody and they actually tell me they watch this or listen to this, it genuinely means a lot. And I hope somebody out there finds this helpful or motivating or whatever, or entertaining, whatever. I hope people are able to consume this in a positive manner, and I hope you can continue to do so. Like I said, if you're out there and you have a goal, you're training for something, whether it could be a strength sport, you're trying to get in better shape, or whatever other sport, you're training for a half marathon. I was talking to a guy at a wedding yesterday who's training for a half marathon, and like, I'm not a runner. I hate running, but still, to hear people training and pursuing a goal, that shit gets me fired up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're out there and you have a goal that you're pursuing, I would love to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. Shoot me a message. I'd love to know. Love to hear it. I'd love to cheer each other on. So with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. And remember, guys, you don't have to be strong to start, but you got to get started to be strong. Thanks, guys. See you next week.